Hi, I'm Steve, and this is my co-pilot, Lucy. Let's go flying.
Bravo, Charlie traffic Cessna Kilo Yankee India Victor Alpha India Romeo taking off runway 17 departure to the south.
Buongiorno. Today I'm in Crotone and I'm going to fly to Sicily, landing at runway 8 at Catania. It's an ILS approach. And it's going to take us all around the, I wonder which side of the island, I guess the east side. We'll get a good view of Mount Etna, all the way on the flight, during the flight, on the approach. I'm going to be flying on autopilot. So spend a lot of time looking out the window at this scenery. Anyway, let's get going, and I'll talk to you once we're in the air. And we're up, hills up. I'm going to be cruising at 20,000 feet today, so I can fly a little faster than at lower altitudes. And we'll see a lot of interesting scenery on the way, and this flight actually took me the better part of an hour. However, I, of course, edited a lot of that out. So anyway, there's the approach we're going to be flying. And we've just taken off. We're going to be crossing over whatever part of the boot that is, and coming around for this kind of indirect approach to runway 8, ILS runway 8 at Catania. And so we're going to get a good view of, the north side of the north coast of Sicily, and Mount Etna from various angles on the way into Catania.
Altitude.
Checking the instruments, checking our course. Not much to do on autopilot at this point other than monitor flight speed. So as I said, it gives me the chance to look at the scenery, which is pretty dramatic in this part of Italy. And you can see off there, just over out the pilot, the front window there, you can see Mount Etna. And now we're looking at the coast as we cross over. Sorry for the choppiness. Now that to the left there, that's the crossing to Messina. Ferry crossing that we did once. Takes maybe, 30, 35 minutes. Very close, it's very close. Landing at Messina, and there again is Mount Etna. This is Lipari, I think it's called. I'd have to look that up. Volcanic island. It's inhabited. I don't know if that volcano is still active. For the sake of the people who live on that island, I hope it's not active. So we're moving right along. That's us right over Lipari, as I just noted. Just crossed Lipari. There again there's Lipari again. And there's Etna, Mount Etna. We were in Sicily at the end of a tour of southern Italy in 2008. Sicily was our last stop. And Etna over there was erupting. Not a big one, but we looked up from where we were staying at dinner, and we could see the lava flowing down the side of the mountain. And later we actually went up there. There's a place where you can go have lunch, and it was belching smoke all day. There are actually ski lifts there, so I suppose people go up there and ski in the winter, unless the chairlifts were just for sightseeing. I don't know. Again, we're moving along. We're going to be turning at not precisely Palermo, but there's a little airport there that's not near Palermo. And that's where we're going to make our turn back towards inland, turn inland and head for the airport in a very kind of roundabout way. So I think we're looking at Palermo here. My best guess. There's a number of towns in this area, and you can see Sicily's very mountainous. And my plan is, having flown here, I'm going to take a air tour of the island. Maybe fly all the way around it from Catania, returning there. One of the places I'd like to look at is Taormina, which is the town we visited when we were staying in the Catania area. As I said, or it may have said, we flew out of Catania. We didn't fly into it, but flew out of it at the end of the trip to Rome. Get your flight back to the States. But I love looking at the scenery, and we're still about, I think I've descended a little bit to 15,000 at this point. And we're just on autopilot following the GPS course. That's the purple arrow down there in the lower left, and the primary flight display. And there, directly ahead again, in greater distances, Mount Etna. It would be neat if the software engineers could actually make it spout in real time. If they have live weather in this simulator. We're descending, I think, and this is the CJ4. This plane is a CJ4 Cessna Citation business jet, and it's kind of fun to fly because even when you're on autopilot, you have to really manage the airspeed, more so than a prop. You always have to worry about overspeeding the engine, and as you descend lower, you can't go as fast because the air is thicker, so this plane flies faster the higher it is, because the thinness of the air at high altitude will go faster without stressing the engine. So we're going through a series of turns to get on course to the final approach at Catania ILS runway 8. And there's a really good view of Mount Etna. I think it tops out about 9,000 feet. And so we're going to contact the airport
Cessna Kilo
and
Yankee
get
India Victor Alpha India Romeo is 21 miles northwest 5,000 feet with uniform to land.
Cessna Kilo Yankee India Victor Alpha India Romeo Catania Tower.
5,000 feet.
Altimeter 29.98 wind calm. Make straight in runway 08.
Height we have to be when we get to
Fly straight in runway 08 Cessna Alpha India Romeo.
I'm recording all this after the exact flight, after the flight itself, by a few days.
Emercy 7 tree, 4 wind 056 at tree. Clear to land runway 08. Clear to land runway.
It's an interesting approach, as you can see. It's a bunch of zigzagging around to get into position for the final approach to the runway. And that green line is actually an arrival procedure, standard terminal arrival procedure, where a star is what it's called. So we've got a few more turns to make before we get to final. And there you can see on the chart where we are. Just got one more right turn, and another, left turn, another left turn, and then we'll be on final approach to the runway. There we go, we're turning on its final. If you look up on the chart, you can see where we are on the approach. I know that went by pretty fast.
Follow the aircraft on final. Wind
Anyway,
057 at tree.
and if you look down the lower left screen, there's a dotted green line around that purple arrow. That shows that we're picking up the localizer, which is the ground-based beacon that will bring us down to the runway on a glide slope. It's an ILS approach. It has a glide slope, and the plane follows the glide slope to the runway. And you don't, as a pilot, you don't have to do much until you get closer, and then you have to go off autopilot and land the plane yourself. So there now is the green localizer name.
Clear to land runway 08.
We've gone from GPS to satellite-based
Clear
GPS
to land runway 08 Cessna Alpha India Romeo.
Localizer. Why am I talking about all this stuff? Well, it's for people who may not, anybody who is watching this for the first time, is not familiar with the lingo and the equipment and so forth. I always explain it.
Catania Tower, Ryanair 50111,
If you
3 miles
already
west inbound, ILS
well
Whiskey Runway
familiar with all
08
this stuff,
approach.
ignore it.
Ryanair 5011, Catania Tower. Altimeter 29er, 6 wind 055 at tree. Cleared ILS Whiskey Runway 08 approach.
We're getting a lot closer, and one of the nice things about being autopilot, still on autopilot at this point, is I can look away from the screen and look out the window, which I really enjoy doing. As a passenger, that's spent a lot of time looking out windows, especially on approach. So we've got the runway in sight up there, and we're on the glide slope, I believe, that GS in green. So we are descending on autopilot for the ILS descent slope, which is what the glide slope is. It's a constant angle of descent to the runway. One more look at Mount Etna as planned. It'd be cool to see it erupting, but I don't think the Solo people can design software that will pick that up. So we're pretty close now, and any moment I'm going to go off the autopilot. You'll hear a sound when that happens. Actually, the system will say autopilot.
Cleared to land runway 08.
Turn it off. There's Mount Etna again.
Cleared to land runway 08, Ryanair 5011.
I'd love to go back to Sicily. It's a fascinating island.
Autopilot.
And it's about time to get off the autopilot, I would say. And there we go. I think we're off of it now. And just keeping the aircraft lined up, maintaining the angle of descent best I can. And then I'm going to flare. Raise the nose, kind of keep the same runway and the runway about the same perspective. And we're down. Raise the nose wheel down. A couple of bounces. Anyway, that's it. Hope you found this interesting, and if you did, I hope you'll come back. I encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Aptos Flyer. I don't know if it'll ever tell you when there's a new video, but you can always come back and look at it. And so I'm just going to leave you with the typical air traffic controller's farewell, which is good day.